Okay. Well, I'd like to say, there we go. Okay. So welcome everyone. This is our third pre-arrival call. We're so excited that you're joining us this morning. We have quite a bit to cover today. So if you do have questions, uh, we'll probably save time for most of the questions at the end. I'm just going to quickly go over who's on the call and who's not. Your admissions counselors, Amanda, John, and Lou, are at a conference this week. So if they won't be on the call today, but if you have questions, of course, you can still reach out to them about your application or anything related to your admission. And then, of course, Anju and Hien are India and Vietnam recruitment specialists. I'm not sure if they're here joining us. Um, okay. And then on today's call, we also have Miho Batani, our director of the Office of International Students and Scholars. Miho, I don't know if you want to say hi.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening. Looking forward to meeting you all in August.
And then by now you probably know me because I've sent you many, 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 many emails. My name is Tina Elvin. I'm an international student advisor here in the Office of International Students and Scholars. So once you get here, um, I'll be one of the people assisting you in your journey as an F1 student. We do have also Paul and Aaron who aren't joining us today, but they might be on the call on our fourth and final call. Um, we have quite a big agenda to cover today, so I think we're just going to get right to it. We have some folks joining us from the Center for Wellbeing, which is our health services center on campus. Before we do that, I just have two quick reminders. The first reminder is please continue to update your admissions counselors. That would be Amanda, Lou, John, um, Hien, and Anju about your F1 visa status. I know some of you might still have appointments coming up and interviews, so please continue to keep us updated on those processes. And of course, if you do have questions related to your interviews and your appointments, please reach out to your admissions counselor that you've been working with. Okay. This is what your enrollment checklist should look like. I know this is from last year. I just didn't have a updated screenshot, but there are a couple of things that you want to make sure that you do. We'll talk about this a little bit later. One really important thing is to upload your photo for your Tommy ID card. We'll talk about that a little bit later today, but please add that to your checklist. Upload your photo because your Tommy ID is how you access your residence hall, how you access the library, how you access a ton of different services on campus. So please make sure that you upload your photo to the portal so that when you come to campus, you have your ID card. And we'll talk about the application portal a little bit later. But I'd like to now turn it over to our staff from the Center for Wellbeing. Our staff, if you just want to tell me when to change the slide, I can do that since I'm controlling it on my end. So, CWB staff, I'd love for you to take over. Thank you so much. And so
You,
join,
Tina.
yeah, Saras, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go ahead and get started. Welcome, everyone. It's wonderful to see so many wonderful faces. My name is Saris. I'm one of the psychologists at Center for Wellbeing. Just a, so we'll go through very quickly about Center for Wellbeing, but I hope that you can ask some questions now, or if you have questions later. It's a big part of your journey at St. Thomas here. Um, Bree, do you want to introduce yourself and Dina, and then I can.
Yeah, my name is Bree. I'm a registered nurse. I'm one of the nurses here at the Center for Wellbeing. Um, yeah, I take care of the clinic.
Well, I'm Dina Abrahamson. I am the systems analyst in the Center for Wellbeing, and I work with the health insurance enrollment process and also the immunization requirements.
Okay, Tina, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So in terms of Center for Wellbeing, I'm just going to talk about the health promotion and counseling services, and then Bree will take over, just talk a little bit about health services. So counseling and psychological services. So Center for Wellbeing is kind of your hub. We have counseling and psychological services, as I said, health promotion, health services. You can go to the next slide, Tina. So counseling and psychological services, it's a wonderful resource at campus here. We have group therapy. So group therapy is based on what's happening in the campus. So for example, in past, I have done group with international students. These are the groups to provide student support, just help them navigate what's happening in the campus, what's happening in their personal life. So we have connect and reflect group, self-compassion group, anxiety toolbox group. So there are some groups where you will sit and talk about different things, what's happening, process. But for example, anxiety toolbox workshop, it will teach you very specific tools and skills, how to deal with anxiety, or how to navigate different types. So it could be social anxiety, it could be test anxiety, all those things. And then we have mental health same day access 10 a.m. to 4 a.m. So if let's say you're feeling overwhelmed, or there's a homesickness, or something is happening, you come, stop by, you call at the Center for Wellbeing, and we can get you connected with a counselor. It's the 30-minute appointment. So we give you skills right away, or we can refer you to the right resources. And then we also have 24/7 phone counseling. So let's say in the middle of the night, something is happening, you're not feeling well. So that's also the resource you call. And on the other end of the line, there's a licensed provider who can help you navigate whatever might be happening. And we also have psychological and educational assessment, which means ADHD testing, learning disability testing, all different kinds of assessments that you can come and get tested for at Center for Wellbeing. So those resources are, again, like really wonderful resources right there at the campus. Tina, you can go to the next slide. In terms of health promotion, they have wellness programmings, wellness coaching. So in terms of the programming, what they do is stress management. They might do some workshops on stress management, time management, procrastination, teaching mindfulness skills. If you're struggling with any sleep issues, they might help you with that. Wellness coaching is one-to-one support. It's a very specific goal centered resource. So for example, if somebody's like, you're having hard time keeping up with all of your assignments, or let's say if you have any health goals that you want to work on, you make a goal with the wellness coach, and each week you go and talk to them, and then they will help you break through these goals. How do we break through these small tasks and help accomplish those? Just going back a little bit about therapy or counseling, it's a confidential resource. So whatever you share, there are some exceptions of confidentiality. If there's a safety risk, then we break the confidentiality. But I think it is important to know that those resources are not shared with your professors or your parents. Nobody. It's between you and your therapist. So you can go to the next slide. Okay, Brie, you can take over now.
All right, so I'm going to take over. So again, I'm a nurse at the health services portion of the Center for Wellbeing, and it's kind of just like a normal doctor's office. So we do primary care, and we have specialty care and nursing line triage. So for primary care, we do physicals, exams, anything to do with acute illnesses. We also manage chronic illnesses. We do minor surgery. So if, for instance, you get injured and you need stitches, we can do that if it's within our scope. And we have mental health services as well. So that's like for medications or medication management. For specialty care, we have providers in psychiatry, physical therapy, and a dietitian that come not every day, but at least once a week at most. So our psychiatrist, she helps with any medication management for any mental health things, and then our physical therapy um, can be uh, our providers can refer you to physical therapy, and if you ever have any like physical ailments, physical pain, or musculoskeletal dysfunction, the physical therapy can help you with that. And then a dietitian, I think they work a lot with health promotion and our primary care providers to help with nutrition and eating behaviors and all those things. For nursing line triage, that's specifically a nursing job. So we are a clinic, and oftentimes we get patients that are above our level of care. So my job is to make sure that you get to the right level of care. So I'll ask a couple questions and see what the concern is and the signs and symptoms, and then we can determine if you need a higher level of care or if you're okay to be seen with us. And you can change the uh, slide. And so at the Center for Wellbeing, we have a My Health portal. It's kind of, I don't know if it's common to have a My chart, but everything in the My Health portal, we have, you can schedule online, you can set up appointments, and then you can do messaging with your providers or any of the counselors um, online as well. Um, and then you can upload any documents. So like for me, I really appreciate it when um, the immunization records are uploaded online, and then we can get that in our system. And so when you do come for a visit, we have all that information and we know what else you might need, or if you're completed scan this QR code to get to the My Health portal, and it's just a login for basically your school email.
Waxaa kala
And
maaye ilma xaaraan kan adada
and you can also call us to schedule appointments. And that's next
Bree,
slide.
I took a screenshot of the My Health portal. I don't know if you want me to
Yes.
go to that slide and you can just kind of
Oh yeah.
briefly go over what that looks like. Okay.
Yeah, we can.
I think it's a couple of slides away, so just I can come back to this, but we have a screenshot from previous year, so if you just want to quickly talk about this, that would be really helpful because I'm not super familiar with it.
Sure. So when you log in to the My Health portal, it's just your normal school email and whatever password that is. And then it'll do a like authentication. So you'll have to give your date of birth, which is what this is. Excuse me. And then this is what the page looks like. So on the left side, it's a bunch of tabs of the different things that you can go to. So at home, you can do your check-in or scheduling appointments. You can send a secure message. So the secure message system is where you can talk to your providers and the providers can talk to you, and it's HIPAA compliant and it's confidential. You can also upload your um, records or view whatever records you have or forms that you need to do here. Um, and then for all the other things in the tab, like there's your health history or your medical records, anything that the providers write um, for you, like your progress notes or anything, those are available to you according to Minnesota law. They should be available to you. Also, your lab results, any testing that you might have done, they will be there as well. So you should have all the records that you need, and you can also see like your immunizations, everything there. I don't know what else I could say about it, but
No, that's
that's
great. I just wanted to show them what it might look like when they log
yeah.
in. Okay, great. We can go back to the back to the
And
slides.
then yeah, we can go to the next slide, and I think Dina's taking over here.
Yes. For immunization requirements, all students are required to show proof of immunity to measles, mumps, rubella, as well as tetanus and diphtheria. So when you log into the portal that Tina just showed us and Bree walked us through, you'll see the forms and requirements button, and you can go to there. And the easiest way to start is to simply upload a copy of your immunization records, as Bree mentioned. That allows us to see your information and determine if you have if requirements are already fulfilled, if you might need a vaccination yet. If you need a vaccination, we will certainly reach out to you, explain what's needed, and help you get a scheduled appointment. You can receive those immunizations at the Center for Wellbeing that are offered. But again, the best way to get started with that is to log into the portal and upload a copy of the immunization records. That way we can see them, and that's the best way for us to be able to help you. There is a link, the immunization requirements on this presentation. I encourage you to select the link and go. It explains how to log into the portal, the steps to upload your documentation. It's really quite simple, but please feel free to contact us if you have any questions. And next we can talk about insurance. Tina, if you could move to the next slide.
Yeah, Dina, I just wanted to ask a quick
Sure.
question.
Absolutely.
This is a question that many international students ask us. If their
Yes.
records are not in English, what should they do?
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Bree, those usually end up with the nurses. Bree, would
Okay.
you like to handle that question?
Sure. So we do have some resources to translate some languages, but oftentimes we'll have to ask for English versions of the records, or you can meet up with us. So we have an appointment just specifically for nurses. Once you get here, you can have a meet up with us, and then it's like a 20-minute visit where you bring your records and we talk through it together just to make sure we are at the same, like, we understanding of what vaccines you have or what else you need. Oftentimes the translations we could be wrong, or we're not skilled enough. So either upload an English version alongside with your um, norm original records, or you could also come by whenever you're available to speak with one of the nurses.
Yes. In the portal, if you schedule an appointment, and there is an option under health services for immunizations for international students, and that is that appointment that Bria is talking about where students can bring their records in. And again, if there's any questions navigating the portal, please just call. We have awesome staff who knows exactly how to help you and can connect you to the right people. Great question, Tina. Thank you.
Could they also stop in too? And
Yes.
okay.
Yes, if they want to bring their records in. If they wanted to bring the records in and drop them off, that's fine. Of course, we can't guarantee that a nurse would be available to speak with them at that time, but we could get them scheduled for that appointment. Yes.
Okay. So, if you have any questions, students on the call, we do have some time during International Student Orientation, and we also have a resource fair, which I know that CWB, some members will be joining. So I think this will be a good time for you to ask questions if you do have questions. And we can also, hopefully we'll have time. We're doing a campus tour and we'll probably walk over and show you guys where the Center for Wellbeing is located. And so I know this is a lot of information, but we'll have a couple of minutes to have any questions for our Center for Wellbeing staff. Okay, I'll go to the next slide.
Thank you. It is a lot of information, and that's why I do also encourage the students to go and look at the website and review the information there. We've tried to capture a lot of information that's helpful. And again, please call with questions. And now we'll talk about health insurance is required for all students on an F1 or J1 visa. St. Thomas does sponsor a health insurance plan through Student Resources, which is a United Healthcare option. J1 students are automatically enrolled in the plan. F1 students must either enroll in the plan or submit a waiver requirement if you have insurance that is comparable coverage. There is a link to the health insurance webpage here. And if you go there, there's plan information, and a little bit kind of in the middle of the page, there are two options to either enroll, confirm your enrollment, or to waive. And if you select the waiver option, it will show the requirements to waive. Things like the plan must be comparable to the the Affordable Care Act, which is a standard in the United States for health insurance. The plan needs to be written in English, must have a U.S. billing address, things like that. Must provide a certain level of coverage. But if you go to the website and select the waiver page, that will show the requirements to waive. Students will start getting an email. The plan isn't finalized yet. We always have to wait for approval this time of year. So when you look at the web page, it will show the information from last year's plan. We're hoping by August 1st, we will have the plan information for the coming year. We will get that out to students as soon as we can. And when we will send students an email with the plan information and links to waive and enroll. And that will be students' indication that, yes, they can now go in and actually complete the waiver or the confirmation of enrollment process. You're not able to do that right now because we don't have the plan finalized. But we're working on it as much as we can. We're waiting for, it's actually the state of Minnesota has to approve the plan that we're working with. So that's the holdup there. But we will get that information to you as soon as we have it. And we have our insurance and billing specialist. Her name is Kathy. She's not on the call today, but she's fantastic. You can reach her by the email on this slide or the phone number. She's fantastic. We just ask that if you do send an email, don't include anything, don't include medical information. Just send her an email and say, I have questions about the plan or about coverage for specific illness. Don't mention the illness, just say, I have questions. She will call you back and she can walk you through that in a confidential manner. And the next. And our location, Center for Wellbeing, is located what we call mid-campus. It's 35 South Finn Street. We are open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. With the exception of Wednesdays, we are open later. We are open until 6 p.m. And there's the phone number, and it says call to schedule an appointment. You can call us with any question that you have. Just use that as the primary number for all things Center for Wellbeing, for counseling questions, insurance questions, immunization questions, health services, scheduling, all questions. Feel free to call that number. And like I said, we have a fantastic front desk staff, and they can get you to the people who can best help you. That's all I have. Thank you, Tina.
You're muted. Okay.
Sorry, everyone. It's been a long morning. Thank you so much, Dina, Bree, and Saris. I'd love to have anyone with questions. You don't need to include, specific confidential information, but if you have a general question about services, we do have a couple of minutes. I see Sophia has a raised hand. Sophia?
Yeah, I don't know if it's to Dina or Bree, but I have a question about a vaccine, TD vaccine. If in my country we do an alternative type of vaccine, but it's for the same, it's for tetanus and for diphtheria, but it's not a TD vaccine specifically, is that okay as well?
For us, we can accept the TD and the Tdap.
So I would need to be revaccinated when I come.
It depends on what you have. It might be like a translation thing, or I don't know what the vaccine that you might have, but we'll have to see. And then once we review your records, we can let you know.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great question, Sophia. Tigran, do you have a question?
Yep. This question is most likely going to be to Bree. My question was basically like when students get sick on campus, just regular stuff, for example, catching a cold and stuff. You guys also do cover that type of thing, right? Where at least you guide them to the correct resources or give them any specific medications according to what they need?
Yes. So typically if you're feeling sick, we do acute care. So if you're feeling a cold or like a sore throat that is really bothering you, you can come and see one of our providers, and then they can do their assessments. And if they think it's indicated, they can give you treatment. We can also run tests like for strep or flu or COVID, just to see like what if you really want to know like, oh, is this a cold or if it's something else that's more serious. And then if um if you are sick but you're not quite sure if you need to be seen, you can also call us and we can triage you and see if you need to be seen here, or any tips. Like if it's just a common cold, I could be like, hey, this might be a common cold. If you feel this way in a certain amount of time, maybe it's something more, please come back and follow up with us. If not, you can use these methods to help with your symptoms. I don't know if I
Understood.
answered
Thank
the
you very
question.
much.
You're
Yeah, you
welcome.
did.
It looks like Zandi. Do you have a question?
Yes, I just wanted to ask. I'm a transfer student and I already have healthcare with United Health. So I wanted to know, is there like a process that I have to follow to like transfer that to St. Thomas, or like how do I go about my health insurance?
If you will have health insurance through all of next year, through the end of December, you would be able to submit a waiver requirement, just a waiver request with that information, the information of your current policy. That would be reviewed. If it meets the requirements, then you would not be enrolled in or charged for the St. Thomas plan for that period of time if you already have coverage. If your coverage is going to be expiring, we would have to look at the dates of that, and you would need to enroll in the St. Thomas plan. So I would recommend you go out to the health insurance website, scroll down to the waiver requirements page, and click that and review the waiver requirements, see if your plan would fulfill the requirements. And then there's contact information on that page, and contact us, give us a call, and we can walk you through any questions that you might have that are specific to your situation. Does that help?
Okay, thank you so much.
Of course.
It looks like we have one more question. I'm so sorry, Kwan, if I say your name incorrectly, please correct me. You can go ahead and answer.
Hi, it's Kawa, but I have a question about health services. On last month, I had a accident, and I needed to do a surgery on my forearm, and I'll need some physiotherapy sessions. I would like to know if the campus offers this type of sections, or I will need to look another provider outside the campus, or if I'll need to pay some additional costs.
So for you mentioned you needed to do physical therapy or physiological therapy.
Yeah,
Is that correct?
physical
Okay.
therapy
Yeah.
sessions.
So we have a physical therapist, and right now they during the summer they're only here once a week, but during the school year they'll be here more often. And he's very good. And if you need that kind of therapy, you can definitely just come by and get that done. It'll have to go through insurance, so whatever is covered by insurance. But that's how it is here.
All right, thank you.
Great. Well, I just want to say a big thank you to our staff members from, Miho,
Tina,
sorry.
hold
Yeah.
on. Sorry,
Yep.
I think there's one more question on the chat.
Oh.
From Min. So I will just read. If my country uses a Sabin vaccine, for tetanus and diphtheria, is that possible? Do I need another injection? Because I received injections for 3 consecutive months in 2007, and I received another injection recently, as recorded in my vaccination booklet. Can you answer that, Bree?
From what I know, I think the Sabine is a polio vaccine, so it wouldn't be tetanus, diphtheria. It might, you might already have tetanus, diphtheria. It might be a different vaccine. So again, we'll need to translate, or there's different manufacturers for vaccines and they have different names. So we also look up those kind of names to see what specifically the vaccine actually is. Um, so as for Sabine, I think in my understanding, it's a polio vaccine. So you might still need the TD, but it might also be just a different vaccine in your country that we might need to look into. So put your vaccination booklet online at the health portal, and then we can see it and determine if you still do need it.
Looks like we have another question as well. Besides the required vaccines, do I need to get a general health check or a TB test in my home country?
So I the only requirement that we have for enrollment is the 2 vaccines, MMR, two of MMR and one updated within 10 years, TD or Tdap. Um, for if you want to have a general health check, we definitely do have physical exams that you can do, and then we can, if you have any concerns, we can also address those, but not necessarily a requirement.
Great. Thank you. Well, I want to say a big thank you to Dina, Bree, and Saris for joining us on the call today. Again, if you do have questions, we have the number here posted on the screen. You can also, I think you have an email address, a general email that they could reach out to, or what would be their best recommendation if they can't maybe make a call right now?
Planner for Wellbeing, they can just email in that general and they can kind of disperse wherever that it needs to go.
Okay. Okay. Sounds good.
Also, if they have any like confidential or specifically medical questions, they can go through the health portal
Okay.
and send a secure message.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. All right, Dina, Bree, Saris, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you and good luck to everyone.
All right, everyone, we are going to continue on. We have a lot of information left to cover. One of the things we talked about briefly was this word portal. You're going to hear this a lot when you get to campus. One of the portals that you'll use is your St. Thomas, it'll be your My Health portal, which we just looked at here with the Center for Wellbeing. We just looked at this screenshot a few minutes ago, or you'll be able to see your appointments. You'll be able to see any secure messages that the nurses or the providers send you. You'll be able to see your insurance card, medical records. This is where you can also see immunization history. So this is one of the places that one of the portals that you'll be using when you get to campus. However, we wanted to go through a couple of other portals as well, that you'll be using a lot at your time here at St. Thomas. So one of the probably most common portals you'll be using is called Canvas. This is our online learning, we call it a learning management system. So this is where most, if not all, of your courses will have class assignments, syllabi, class materials like PowerPoints or slides. All of this will be posted here. So I just have a screenshot. For example, I know this is an outdated screenshot, but all of you should have your new student orientation course, which is a required course. You'll have to complete it. as soon as possible, because if it's not completed, then you'll have a hold on your account, which means you can't register for classes in the spring semester. But this online course goes over all of the information you need to know as a new incoming student. We also have an international student orientation course. This will cover things like what to pack, some of the F1 regulations, information about campus like public safety, the Center for Wellbeing who just joined us, and some questions about arriving in the US. But again, Canvas is a place that you'll be using probably every day because this is where most of your classes, your grades, anything will be posted to Canvas. And a lot of times you also submit your assignments through Canvas as well. So this is a place I think that you'll want to become familiar with. So accessing your St. Thomas account and then just exploring the website and exploring our intra-campus system called One St. Thomas would be a great way for you to get used to these portals and services on campus. Okay. Does anyone have any questions about that right now? Another service that you're going to be using probably every day is called One St. Thomas. Again, this is our inter-campus system. It's only for St. Thomas users. This is where you can access all kinds of different services on campus. So if you look on the screenshot, there's an email tab. You'll see the Murphy tab. Murphy is another important place that you'll use quite a bit. It's where you can update your address, access your class list and class schedules. If you get a job on campus, this is where you'll enter in your hours that you work, where you can access your pay stubs, all kinds of information through Murphy. So again, if you type in One St. Thomas, you can sign in and then you'll be able to see all kinds of different information. News and events are posted here. One thing that I like to use One St. Thomas for as a staff member is I like to go to the St. Thomas Library. And so on One St. Thomas, I can see how many books I have checked out and when they're due. So that's a good reminder for me to see when my books are due, so I don't get a fee if I return them late. You can also organize your page. So if you see the yellow tab, which says Enterprise Apps, you can organize apps by how often you use, maybe your most often used tabs. So again, I would say this is a great time to go and explore because this is going to be a page that you use quite a bit while you're here. One thing I also previously mentioned is Murphy. These are all on-campus systems that we use to organize information, to get information out to you. But you can see here, Murphy is a really important resource. This is where you can register for courses once you're a little bit farther along in your academic journey. Your first year will have your academic counselors help you register, but then later on you'll be able to register on your own through Murphy. If you look at the box where it says proxy management, if you would like to, you can grant your parents, guardians, access to your student records, but you don't have to do that. That's a personal choice. If you look down too, you can see where it says classes. You can see your class schedule. But if you also go up to the top, there's different tabs, right? So it says advising and registration, classes and grades, employment information would be if you're working on campus. And then of course you have other tabs as well. Your personal information like your address. If at the end of your second year you were to move off campus, or if you're a transfer student and you've received an off-campus housing exception, you could update that information as well. So when you get to campus, there'll be a lot of different places that you'll be inputting information or finding information, and Murphy is one of the most common portals that you'll need to use. Does anybody have any questions? I just went through kind of briefly those three big portals. Canvas, where you access your courses, and I can go back to if that's helpful. Canvas, where you access your courses, and then One St. Thomas, where you can basically find anything you need to do. Go to your email, maybe find the My Health portal. I forgot to mention too, One St. Thomas. Let's say that you are taking a math class and you're finding it really challenging and you just need a little bit of help. You can go to the MARC or the Math Resource Center. You can type it in here in the search box on One St. Thomas and you can set up an appointment to get tutoring for, let's say, math or the writing center, or you can find maybe your theology course may have tutors. You can find all of this information on One St. Thomas. So One St. Thomas is a place that you'll go for almost anything. And then again, we talked about Murphy. Okay. So if you have any questions, please feel free. Please feel free to reach out. We're happy to answer any questions you have. Okay, so we can continue on here. It's the middle of August, which means you'll be arriving in the US here in about a month and a half. So some of you might start thinking about what should I pack? If you're like me, you might start thinking about it the week before, but some of you may be more organized than me and might already start thinking about what you need to bring. So we suggest from home, bring copies of your medical records. We also, this is very, very important, final official transcripts. We do need these, and we will ask you to provide these when you check into our office. You'll bring your passport, you'll bring some other documents, but one of the things we need is final official transcripts from your school, okay, from your high school. So these need to be hard copy, they need to be directly from the school, okay? Another thing that we suggest students to bring is cultural clothing or anything that you might wear in your home country for a special festival or something like that. The reason we ask students to bring this is that we have a lot of events on campus, like cultural events, and it's a great way to showcase your home culture. For example, in April, we have something called International Dinner, and it's a really cool chance for students from many different countries to showcase their home country. So it looks like we have a question in the chat. If I'm a transfer student, do I need to bring my university transcript or high school transcript or both? Min, I think you are working with John. So I think this would be a question that you may want to email John about, okay? John Stewart, though, is your admissions counselor. Okay, the other thing that
Hold
oh,
on.
Miho? Yeah, go ahead,
I
sorry.
can speak to one thing.
Okay.
Min, especially for the if you are currently attending a U.S. institution, especially one from the U.S., your transcript needs to be sent directly from your current institution to St. Thomas. Okay. You can check with John about the high school transcript, but in terms of a U.S. Transcript, please work with your school, current school, and have them send the transcript directly to St. Thomas.
Thanks, Miho. It looks like Hong Mei has a question has your hand raised.
Yes, hi everyone. Thank you, Tina, for your presentation. I just have a question regarding my medical records. So
Okay.
I've lost all the physical copy in my high school because I brought it to abroad to my
Sure.
high school. But I do have all the digital copy of it. Does it also work to just, send you guys the digital copy of it?
I don't know that if we necessarily need it, but our office wouldn't need it, but I think it would be if you were needing to go to the Center for Wellbeing, they may ask to see your medical records, and I think a digital copy would be okay.
Okay, thank you so
It's just
much.
sometimes they may want to see some, if you have if you have a chronic
Mm.
condition or something, but I think a medical version.
Yeah, like
I'm so
all
sorry.
the
A digital version is fine.
yeah, because we have also the all the vaccination records and stuff.
Yeah, I would definitely have the digital version then. Yeah.
Thank you.
That's a great question. We do have a question in the chat. I'm not sure how to answer this. This is from Tigran Mijo. I don't know if you can answer this. Otherwise, we can.
Is it the IB, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, send to the university. Do we need to bring the hard copy? Okay, so let's check with I'm not sure whether you would need the hard copy, but check with Amanda. Send Tigran just to send the email to Amanda, whether you need to bring the hard copy.
Okay. So just a couple of more things too. A lot of times, and then one more thing, adapter for electrical outlet. I would say this is probably the most important, one of the most important things to pack, especially for your first, few weeks here. Your adapter for the electrical outlet. We do have a plan to go on a shopping trip, but I would still suggest you have one in your suitcase. And then the other thing we did want to talk about too is what should you buy in the US? Bedding, you can buy that anywhere. You can buy it at Target, which is a big store that has pretty much everything, and we're going there on Sunday, the 30th of August. I would say winter clothes, if you're not from a place that is as cold as Minnesota, I would highly suggest that you wait until you get to Minnesota because the cold weather in your country or region may not be the same cold that we experience here in Minnesota, and the clothes that you buy, it may just not be suitable. It may not be warm enough. If you do if you are from a place that has very different weather than Minnesota, we can help you and we can tell you where to go to buy a winter jacket. I would say just wait till you get here if you're not from a cold weather country. Um, and then, of course, like food and school supplies, of course, you can buy here. So, um, I think the most important things, especially from someone who's lived in another country, is when I lived in a different country, I brought photos of my friends and family, and I just brought little things that I could decorate my room with that reminded me of home. So I just brought a little picture of a famous lake in Minnesota that I hung on my wall. It was a very small picture, and I just brought some things that reminded me of home. But the big things you can buy when you get here. We do have a packing list as well. You can scan it. It looks like we have a question. Catherine, do you have a question?
Yes, just quickly. Thanks for mentioning that you will be going to the Target on this Sunday.
Yeah.
That's very useful. Now they arrive Saturday, so I'm
Yes.
just curious in terms of bedding, will they have something to sleep on Saturday night if they wait till Sunday to shop? That
Great
was my
question.
question. Yeah.
Great question.
Okay.
So Residence Life will have temporary bedding, so you'll get a pillowcase, a comforter, and sheets, but that is temporary. It needs to be returned to Residence Life. So we will organize and make sure that every student has temporary bedding that they can use. And then once they get here, they can either go to Target, you could order a set from Amazon. The end of August is a very busy time for universities in the Twin Cities for students to be moving in. So many, many, many stores will have bedding. The reason we suggest that students do not pack it from their home country is that the beds here are twin XL, and that may not be available in your home country because it's a very specific size. But the stores here, like Target or Amazon, will have that size. It looks like, is it Ridiet? I'm so sorry, Ridiet Casa. I'm so sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. It sounds like you have a question. You can type it in the chat or you can unmute yourself as well.
Hi everyone.
Hi.
So my question is, I'm a transfer student
Yep.
and this will be my junior year.
Okay.
Am I supposed to have a housing? Because I currently have my own house I'm staying.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yes, if you're a junior, you are living off campus, I assume. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, yep. Okay. So that's fine.
that's okay.
Yep, that's
Okay.
okay. Yep.
I was just checking.
Yeah, good.
Okay,
Um,
thank you.
yep. So anyway, if you look at the packing list, these are just some things that we recommend to put in your carry-on that you bring on to the plane with you. You know, passport, boarding pass, your I-20 or your DS 2019. It's a really, really good idea to have your CVIS I-901 receipt. And of course, like we mentioned, official copies of your high school and or your college transcripts, to have these with you in your, backpack or in your bag that you have with you when you sit on the plane. Another thing I wanted to mention is this is really important because when you get to campus, on that Monday, we will have representatives from US Bank that will help you set up a US Bank account. But of course, receiving that card and that account may take a couple of days. So please make sure that you have a plan for money, okay? You can get cash. Um, you could also get something like a prepaid Visa or MasterCard, or you can check any of the big merchants that you can use. But if you could have a prepaid card, that would be great. Otherwise, you may need to speak with your bank to see if you'd be able to use some kind of either debit card or credit card in the US for a little bit of time while you wait for your US bank card to arrive. Just please make sure that you have a plan for card or cash when you get here. Of course, your meals will be most of your meals will be covered because we will have meal vouchers for you to use, and then your meal plans will start that Monday morning. But for example, on Sunday, if you would like to join us at Target, you'll need to have a plan for how you're going to pay for items. And another thing, I think what you could do is you could go to Target, and I could even send it here in the chat, but you could go to Target. Um, we're going to the Roseville, Minnesota location. You could even see like what kinds of things you might want to buy and kind of budget for how much you might need. You might look at twin XL bed sheets. Uh, you might also want to buy some snacks for the first couple of weeks as you get settled. So I would say kind of budget what you think you're going to spend at Target. Okay. A couple more things before we move on. Sam, yes, you can absolutely set up your own bank account if you want to. We just make it easy for students who maybe don't want to go off campus. That's why we have representatives. But if you're arriving early or if you're already here, that's totally fine. Um, Again, too, I would say for the packing list for your carry-on luggage, hand sanitizer. If you have any medications, please bring your medications along with your prescription documentation. It's always a good idea to pack an extra outfit because we know planes and flights can be delayed and canceled. Make sure that you pack your phone and your charger, your laptop and your charger, your adapter, and then other essential personal items. Of course, in your checked luggage, we want to make sure that you bring enough clothes, shoes, and of course, we always suggest a cultural outfit or two for events on campus. Also, make sure at the bottom too, we do not pack any undocumented drugs or medications without their original packaging or with without the prescription information from a doctor. And of course, too, any unpackaged, unsealed food from animals or plants is not admissible into the US. You might receive a fine from US Customs and Border Protection. So please be mindful of that. Okay, so we have a couple more slides and we're almost out of time. So let's take a look here. The one thing I want to mention, this is really important, and I mentioned it earlier. Please make sure that you upload a photo to your student ID. Your student ID is your room key. For your residence hall. It provides you access to various facilities on campus. The plan for every year is if you upload your photo before you arrive, we will go to the card office and pick up your card for you so that you have it as soon as you get to campus. So please, everyone, make it a priority, maybe after this call, or by the next call, to upload a photo to your photo ID. Okay, so this just happened yesterday. I got an email to my account. It was a scam email. You sometimes, unfortunately, you're going to get emails that look great, but oftentimes they're a scam, and we want you to be aware of a few things. So you might get emails that list job offers, like the screenshot that you can see on the screen. It looks like they're from St. Thomas, but they're scams. Employers will not email you offering job opportunities unless you have either specifically requested information from their company or you've applied for a job. Official government entities will never call you, email you, or text you if they require information from you. Official government entities will send you an actual physical letter, okay? So just be aware that the screenshot here is a really common scam. It's promising a weekly salary of $400, which is a very high amount. Unfortunately, it's a scam. So please, if you receive an email like this and you don't know if to trust it, come to our office and we can help you. Okay, now for some of you, you might be looking at purchasing a round trip ticket. I don't know if you are. That's something that is a personal decision on your part. May 21st, 2027 is move out day for those living in the residence halls, meaning that you'll have to be out of the residence hall on that day. You can also find the academic calendar linked in our presentation, and it'll have all kinds of important dates that you might need. This would include midterm exams, and when we have our midterm break, it would include J-term, which is our break between our fall and spring semesters. So please take a look at the academic calendar as well. Your learning and living community assignments have been sent out, but housing assignments will go out at the end of July. Continue to please reach out to Residence Life if you have any questions about your housing assignment, or if you have any concerns about on-campus living or questions. You can email reslife@stthomas.edu. Okay, we have a couple more slides and then we're almost finished up here. I think we have about 3 slides left. Please remember, we will be having our International Student Orientation Saturday, August 29th to Wednesday, September 2nd. Remember that Saturday, August 29th is our arrival day. You can fill out the airport arrival information. We can only offer airport pickup on Saturday, August 29th from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. Please fill out the arrival information form, even if you're not wanting to be picked up, because we like to know when you're arriving. So please, regardless of if you want to be picked up from the airport, please let us know how you're arriving. And then you can also click on the International Student Orientation schedule with our full list of activities from Saturday, August 29th to Wednesday, September 2nd. I did want to cover one more thing before we finish up here. I think you're probably seeing this word orientation quite a bit, and it's probably a little bit confusing because St. Thomas has its own new student orientation, and our office has our international student orientation because we go over some important things about being an F1 or J1 international student. So Thursday, July 23rd, from 8:45 to noon, you'll have your virtual orientation session. You'll receive a link a few days prior for the information. Please email orientation@stthomas.edu. Otherwise, for transfer students, you'll attend Tuesday, July 28th. Just as a reminder, though, if you do not attend a session, you will have to attend a session on August 20th, which is a virtual session. If you can't attend that session, you'll have to do a makeup course in Canvas. And again, this is required because you need to finish this course in order to register for spring classes. Okay, so a couple of important social media pages that we always suggest you follow, of course, our St. Thomas International Admissions account, our personal office, OISS at St. Thomas. UST Res Life is a great place to follow because they post a lot of events happening in the residential halls, but also they have tours that you can take of your residence halls in your rooms. So you can see what it's going to look like where you're living once you get your housing assignment. Our main page, U of St. Thomas MN, is the university-wide Instagram. We also have the St. Thomas class of 2030, so you can see some of the incoming freshmen that you'll be meeting. And then if you do have any questions too, we have our office WhatsApp that you can also message as well. Please remember August 12th, 2026, we'll have our final pre-arrival call. And then August 29th, 2026 is our arrival day. Please make sure that you sign up for airport pickup. However, the deadline to sign up is August 21st so that we have enough time to reach out to you if there's any questions about your arrival information and to put together a schedule for airport pickup. Next call is our last call. We'll talk about arrival information. We'll talk about reminders of what to bring to the U.S. We'll give you any reminders about orientation and arrival day. We'll talk about textbooks, final transcripts, billing and privacy, and then you'll have a chance to meet your international orientation leaders. Okay, last slide. I just wanted to plug one more thing that I think is really, really, really great. We have something called a Friendship Family Program here in the Office of International Students and Scholars. It's a program that matches international students with local Twin Cities family. We hope that it provides cultural experiences for community members as well as help international students experience Minnesota or US culture with an American or local family. We have a link here if you'd like to be interested in matched with a local family. If you can see in the photo, this is Aika. She's one of our students who graduated a couple of years ago. She's from Kenya. She had a wonderful family. If you have questions about the program, you can always reach out to us, but it's just a great way to experience maybe a local family. They may take you, around the Twin Cities and just help you explore the area a little bit. They might have you over for a movie night. It's just a chance to have a connection while you're here. And again, the link is on the slides, which I will send later today. I know that I went over time today. We had a lot of information to cover. We can take just a few minutes if you have any questions. I'm gonna just stop recording. So if you do have any questions, feel free to